Hey everybody, welcome to Slash Bash, where today I am bringing you another Choosing Beggar Reddit video. If you are new to the channel, then subscribe, and click on notifications so you don't miss out on the fun. In our first story, A Choosing Beggar wants a refund. Just keeping our OP available and waiting all day isn't enough to pay for. Let's jump right in. I am a 29-year-old female and am a native English speaker living in the capital city of my husband's home country. We just got married, and I'm currently in the process of looking for teaching jobs. I am actually an English teacher and was working as one in my home country. In the meantime, I offer private English lessons on the side to make enough money to pay for our groceries. Students find me using a website built for this purpose, where I can message them, schedule their courses, and accept payments. 98% of the time, I make valuable connections and have great relationships with my students. Enter Choosing Beggar. She is the founder of a startup around the same age as me who really loves having the title of CEO next to her name. She first contacted me at the beginning of the year for a last-minute review of a promotional video script she had to read in English. I met her at her office in the evening, and everything went fine. I stayed a few minutes late, free of charge, to wrap everything up and make sure she had a final product we were both happy with. I gave her a few suggestions on how she could improve, and she told me she'd contact me for lessons. By all accounts, she was very happy with the experience. Choosing Beggar contacted me twice more in the spring. All was last minute, asking for reviews of written texts and voice recordings of me reading these texts so she could practice her pronunciation. The third time she requested this, I was on vacation waiting in an airport. She texted me asking if I could do a recording right away. When I agreed and programmed the course, she said the cost was too high since it would only take a few minutes. I sent her a lower price, but she insisted on only paying me $10. I was not comfortable with this, but I told her I would make an exception one time and do it out of respect for our connection. I didn't hear from Choosing Beggar all summer, and then got an email from her a few days ago with a proposal for me. She wanted me to edit 4 texts for pitches she would have to give in English and record myself reading them just like before. I normally charge for an hour course to do things like this, so the total would have been $160 at my current rate of $40 per hour. She said she would pay me $100 and asked for an invoice with tax included so she could have her company write it off as a business expense. I told her I would not be able to create invoices like this for a few more months, but said I'd be happy to do it retroactively once all my papers are finalized. She agreed to this, sent the payment through the website, and told me she would send me the first text the next morning. It was urgent and needed to be done that day. To make a long story short, surprise, surprise, she never sent me the text. She was emailing me all day asking for more time for this reason or that reason. Finally, it got to be about 5 p.m. and I had to stop being agreeable and tell her I would not be available after 7 p.m. My husband and I had an event to go to that I had bought tickets to. I told Choosing Beggar that if she could get the text to me before 7, I would do my best to record it for her before I left. She made it clear from her emails that she expected me to be available all night, but I did not agree to this condition. Then she stopped responding. The following morning, I sent her an email at 8 a.m. saying I could at least check the text for her if it was too late for the recording. She did not respond. That afternoon, I got a phone call from the website's customer service representative. I was floored. She told me that Choosing Beggar had requested a full refund, stating that the course never happened and that I did not do the work she paid for. I explained the entire situation to the rep and happily forwarded her our email exchange showing her that I had been available and responsive all day. The rep agreed I had done my best and said she would not force the refund, but told me the student could still contact me asking for one. In that case, however, the total of the refund would be completely at my discretion. I am still waiting for Choosing Beggar to contact me, and am still fuming about this. I just feel super disrespected. This is so unprofessional. I'll update it if and when I get that refund request from Choosing Beggar. I have an idea about how I will respond, but let's see what happens. In story number 2, A Choosing Beggar shows just how entitled they are when their haggling fails. Don's Bicycles 1 star. Never have I dealt with a business and employees who lack common, practical, and fair business sense and a complete lack of ethics. I will preface this review by stating that Don's Bikes and the manager on duty could have easily rectified this situation and made a deal with a paying customer in the store, despite my negotiating and walking out for 30 seconds only to return to the store to accept their offer. But since they did not, here we are. I called Don's Bikes on a Sunday to inquire as to whether they had a bike in stock. They confirmed they did and advised it was used, but in excellent condition. They agreed to put a hold on the bike for Monday. Due to work, I was unable to drive the hours to the store to see a bike and instead came at my first availability the next day, Tuesday. The bike was still there and in great condition, albeit priced higher than Blue Book value, and I had previously been advised it was on the floor for 2 months without a sale. A salesman, Nate, said his friend was interested in the bike also. I test drove the bike for about 10 minutes and returned to the store to negotiate. I was ignored for maybe 10 minutes and finally asked who was in charge to negotiate a deal. Adrian negotiated with Paul, the manager's assistant, and I made an aggressive offer on the condition that if it was not accepted, I would walk. They countered very slightly higher, and I walked out the door for all of 30 seconds, probably less, to put my sunglasses in my trunk. I walked back into the store and stood at the front counter waiting for Adrian and Paul, who had disappeared. They were relatively busy, but nothing their staff couldn't handle. I walked back over to the bike, and Nate and Adrian came over and Nate put a sold sign on the bike. I told him, "Great, you sold it to me, right?" His response was, "No, I sold it to my buddy. You walked out of the store and I took a deposit from him and it's his." At this point, I was thinking it was a joke. I told him, "No, I'm here in the store. I left for 20 or 30 seconds, was standing at the front desk, and you sold it out from underneath me?" He tried calling his friend, who he had sold the bike to, and his friend would not relinquish the sale. I told him, "I'm ready to pay you right now for a negotiated price," and they wouldn't budge. They tried to upsell me to a $5,000 bike when I told them I didn't drive an hour to buy that bike. I wanted the one I came here for. At this point, Adrian and Nate brought over Paul, and Paul quickly sided with his sales staff on the position with the defense of, "Well, you walked out, and we told you someone else wanted to buy it. BS. Some colorful language was exchanged, and I walked out. Never before have I experienced such underhanded, unethical, slimy business tactics. These guys give used car salesmen a great name and reputation. Don's Bikes had a ready and willing buyer to buy the bike from the store right there at my negotiated price, and they completely leveraged my offer against another buyer via phone, unbeknownst to me, and all in the span of maybe 2 minutes. As I said, here we are. I find solace in the fact that Nate's friend supposedly was willing to pay $150 more than the bike than I was, and at that price, he paid an $800 premium over market value. Such a great friend. Instead of Paul, Adrian, Nate, and Don's Bikes' willingness to make good and not perform such shady business deals, I will now go out of my way to tell everyone about my experience. Never do business with this half-rate bike shop again. From now on, I'll keep my business local and with respectable and reputable shops who treat their customers fairly and ethically. Story number 3 might be a bit controversial. Our OP's mother-in-law lets her borrow a car. When she takes it back to use it for a day, does she turn our OP into a choosing beggar? You decide. About 6 months ago, my mother-in-law said I could have or use her car because she was getting a new one. She knew we were in a bad financial situation, and she didn't really specify if it was permanent or not, but she did not transfer the car out of her name and told me that she could take it back when she wanted. Honestly, I was excited because it was a nice car and we were in a really tough situation. My mother-in-law showed up a few days ago and demanded that I let her use the car because her new car was in the shop. I was uncomfortable, but there wasn't much I could say. Well, I guess my mother-in-law went to help her butthole law partner. Seriously, this guy is such a bully and a scumbag. He decided he wanted to leave his poor wife, who he has been cheating on and neglected for something like 20 years, and he needed her to wait outside so he could do it and run. And because he only has a 2-door coupe and needed room for some bags. Well, the wife ran out after him, and mother-in-law claims she freaked out and drove the wrong way. She rear-ended the wife's car and dented the front, though it is still in working condition. When she returned the car after a few days, she said that since it works, she doesn't think she needs to pay to fix it. I told her that she is the one who damaged it and she needs to fix what she broke. My mother-in-law said if I have a problem with it, I can fix it out of my own pocket, which she knows isn't an option right now. My husband is taking her side and saying since it is her car, she has the right to damage it, and now I look like a dummy driving this dented car around. This is John from Slash Bash. Thanks for watching. If you've enjoyed the video and want to see more of them, then please hit that subscribe button. We'd love for you to drop a like, share it with your friends, and we will see you in the next one.